Welcome back, everybody. We are done enough with the Jeep. It still needs the hardtop, still needs the doors put on it, but it's time to get it out of the garage. Got the brakes bled, got the seats all mounted in, the seat belts are mounted. Slung some fresh paint on the front bumper, make it look a little bit better, jazzed it up just a touch, not much. There it is. It's covered in dust, dirt, and all the fun stuff. But we are about to move this thing out of the garage, test drive it around the yard just a little bit, and then I think we're going to go to town, or at least a drive along the back roads, just to see how this thing acts. But first step is the yard, and then we'll see how it goes from there. There we have it. It is out of the garage finally. Still got to put this step back on, relocate those holes. We'll do that at a later date. I'm not worried about it right now. I can live with that. I think it's time for a test drive. Literally smoke coming off of this. This looks like an older caliper. Still see the smoke coming off. The driver's side front had been replaced. I replaced all rubber lines and all hard lines, so I don't think it's a bad rubber line. Shouldn't be. Anyway, I'm going to pull the wheel off and I'm going to see if that caliper's even moving, if maybe the slide pins are jammed up, or if the piston, I don't know. I got to figure out what's going on, but let me get the wheel off and we'll investigate. Oh yeah, she's tight. Not sure why it did that. Too bad. Definitely noticed the drag and brake. Not really sure what's causing it to dart all over the road. Drag link looks about as good as it can be. It's got a drop pitman arm. All the joints seem nice and tight. I don't seem to have any movement in the wheel bearings. But it's just like you shift and it just woof, hit the brake and it's like you're chasing it all over the place. So not really sure why that is. I checked I don't know, is that toe or camber? I don't know. Anyway, the in and out, front to back, and it was spot on as far as like exact measurement, which surprised me. I'm thinking I need to have a little bit of like toe in, I guess is maybe the right phrase. I don't remember. Maybe that'll help with the steering. I don't know. But overall, I mean, it did pretty good. Man, that thing is hot. I don't know why. Smoking that brake. Let me see if I can get some movement out of it. Let me grab a pry bar. Now, I know the brakes are mushy. I bled them earlier, but I had a rear line where that bent block and T is for the brake lines. Right there where your rubber line connects into. It was leaking there after I did the brake bleeding. I suspected it. Thought I had it fixed. Anyway, I got to go back and rebleed because of that. It definitely stuck. It's still smoking hot. I'm gonna turn the wheel, see if I can get them bolts to loosen up just a little bit. See if I can get some sort of slide out of it. I think the slide pins maybe froze up. The piston's not retracting. Something's going on. I have to grab me some gloves too. All right, everybody, we are back once more. New day, cold, kind of wet, dreary is what it is. I'm tinkering around outside because I still have the bucket inside. That gentleman will be here tomorrow late to pick that up. Anyway, I'm still working on the Jeep. So, the Jeep YJ. I am currently working on installing the new LED headlights that I have for it. Yes, they're a little cheesy. Not everybody likes them. Either you do or you don't. Regardless, my intent was to put some in because I like what I have in the Jeep CJ, which is a round version. It's very similar to these. So that's what I'm going to install because they're going to be way better than what's currently in it, or at least that's what I'm telling myself. But we have also had some other upgrades, which I did not show you guys yesterday. I installed a new to me soft top, which happened to be in really good shape. It had been used very little and put in storage, with the exception of the uppers. The uppers came with the doors when I bought the doors, and they're in terrible shape. But the idea was to keep the rainwater out. I don't know if you guys have this problem, or maybe you know, is there supposed to be something else here? Because that's, I don't know. I can't say I've really dealt with one of these newer soft tops. And I don't have that issue with my old soft top. It actually has a additional flap, but it's like the Tiger top or something, and it snaps through here, so it's not a problem. That's obviously going to let a lot of air in and out. This side's about the same. I haven't even cleaned it. Still got dirt all over it. This one's not much better shape, but it is on there. I had to do some adjustments to the hinges to make things work. This is all dry and it doesn't like to move or flex, so the Velcro, it's not grabbing the way it should. But it seals up for the most part. The inside's looking pretty good still. Not a whole lot has changed there. This door opens and closes as it should. On the other side, now this one was a challenge. So this Jeep had been wrecked once before, and hence that was part of this repair. So what I figured out trying to install this door, which it looks pretty good now, body line's pretty close, gaps mostly even, it's not hitting, it actually recesses down in there like it should. The issue I had was because of the accident, this A-pillar was pushed in. So it was pushed in this way a little bit, just a little, and mostly back this way, which allowed the door striker wasn't even close. The door really wouldn't even fit in here. It was a complete disaster. A 6-ton bottle jack and a piece of scrap square tubing that I had, and I put it up against the roll bar down there at the very bottom, stuck my bottle jack in there at the top. So bottle jack went in here to the dash, and I was actually able to get it up underneath this bolt. I tried this one. It did some pushing, but it did better up here. It kind of caved it in a little bit, but I literally had to push this thing 3/4 of an inch. That's insane. Where I got the number from is I went to the passenger side and I measured from this point down to this point, and then checked it. I checked that side to see what it was, and then I came back over here, and this A-pillar had to go forward 5/16 of an inch. I didn't even know that was going to be possible. What it ended up doing was buckling all this work that I did down here, which aggravated me, and I just beat it back in with a hammer. Yeah, after all that, I beat it back in there a little bit violently with a regular ball peen hammer. But anyway, I can live with it. Yeah, I pushed this A-pillar 3/4 of an inch forward, only to try to get it to relax by opening this up 5/16 of an inch. It worked. Believe it or not, it worked. I think my windshield was already cracked, but I think I made it a little worse. So we'll see how that works out later if I go to replace that. The door does not close exactly smooth. It's still got a spot that it hangs open, Part of that is this striker mechanism. It's a little beat up. Somebody has probably knocked it or wallered it out. You can see where somebody's welded some stuff back in there and made it work. I was able to kind of flex this a little bit more to get a better alignment and a better latch. Now you just kind of got to slam it a little, but it seals up like it should. You can see the tear in this. Threads coming out there. I relocated the snap just so this would snap. Unfortunately, it does leave this big old opening here, and this this will not stretch back around. It just won't do it. So I'm having to deal with that. But overall, it's looking pretty good. I still got to put that side step piece back on there. I'm going to put it back on just so it looks the same on both sides. I'm really digging that rattle color paint that I put on there. I may end up repainting the whole Jeep that color down the road. We will see when we get to that point. Anyway, we need to get in here and wire wheel some of this rust out. And slap some paint in there. And we're going to work on installing the light. I may look to see if I can lubricate these adjusting screws to maybe make it a little easier to get that light where it needs to be. But let me get the drill first. I tell you what, so Jeep had a kind of pros and cons to this setup. So the adjuster screws are back in here, one there, the rest is handled by a spring. This and this is a challenge to get a screwdriver straight in on. However, let me show you guys one thing Jeep did do is they actually run that bolt all the way through and then put like a hex head on it. So you can get on it with a pair of vice grips, pliers, maybe find the right socket. There's the other one, so you can loosen those up from back here. Of course, I learned this after I stripped the head out on one of these here, but I can still get the adjusters, which is absolute money. All right, on to the next slide. Let's see what these lights are going to do. Bam! I hope you can see. Because I can. That is what we want. On to the next little cheap upgrade. All right, next step, taillight lens covers. Let me show you. Let me show you here. Oh, turn something other. Oh, just packing. Not that I'm a Sasquatch believer or anything, but check those out. They are kind of cool. So truth. Let's see what they Bam! I like it. Use a couple new lenses, but that one's fairly bright. That one's not so bright. But I like them, so here we are. So welcome back, everybody. I currently find myself working on the Jeep YJ once more, trying to resolve the steering. So I made an adjustment in the tie rods, towed the tires in about 1/8 of an inch, which I believe was correct, and it tracks better. It's still got a little darting, and I think that has a lot to do with the tie rod ends and the drag link. They don't necessarily seem wore out. They probably do have some miles on them, but they don't seem wore out. I'm not looking at changing those just yet. So I decided I would check the steering dampener and see what it looked like. And unfortunately, the tapered piece, let me show you. Dampener, you can see it. It's a Pro Comp or something like that. I run the head of this stud, which is a tapered stud. I don't have another one. I just went to the parts store to get a regular steering dampener to see if this would lessen the amount of darting that it's been doing. And that shock, that stabilizer there, still has some pretty good resistance in it. Not as much as the new one. So I'm kind of hoping, I don't think one's going to fix it, so I've decided to do two. And here's what we are up against. As I said, this got runned, so that's junk. We're okay on the stud there. So I think what I'm going to do is, you can see the taper in that, is I'm just going to replace this tapered fitting with a straight bolt. And I'm going to weld me a bushing on the back side here that's the same diameter as the front. That way I can put a straight bolt in it. I think we'll be just fine. So that'll fix the original steering dampener that was on the Jeep when I got it. And then I'm going to add in a secondary dampener. And I don't think this axle is necessarily the original axle for the Jeep YJ. Correct me if I'm wrong, because up there looks like a track bar mount. I think that's part of a track bar mount. And this is somebody's weld that added these spring perches on there. So I'm guessing this is probably off of Jeep Cherokee or a newer YJ, TJ, something. I don't know. Doesn't matter at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize this mounting point, which, like I said, I think was originally for the track bar. Since I don't need it and I'm not using it, I'm going to cut this nub off here, which still leaves me a lot of thick material. I'm going to run me, this is not the right size bolt, I'm going to run me a bolt right through there. And as long as I don't run into any clearance issues, I believe I might just be able to do something like this. And then I'll put me a couple of dog ears up here on this drag link and bolt it there. And then I'll have me a dual steering stabilizer setup. And I don't think it's going to hurt me any. I think it may help, but I won't know until I try. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to weld me a couple like dog ear pieces off of this, top and bottom, sandwich that steering stabilizer end right in there. I'll make sure it's the same length. And from the factory one, I'm going to turn you sideways here, from here to the original mount, whatever that length is, I'm going to match it up here to up here, and I think we can make that work and all will be good. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so where that tapered spot is in that drag link, like I said, I think I'm just going to weld either a thick washer, or I'm going to make a thick washer the same size, with the same size hole as the small end of that taper. We'll put a straight bolt, grade 8 bolt in there, and that should do everything I need it to do. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Let me see what I can scrounge up for that. I'm gonna clean the paint off the backside for the welding, and then I got to get the welder drug over here. Although I'm at this point, I might be better off to just remove the whole thing, and then it's just gonna make life a lot easier to deal with. So. Anyway, I'll figure it out, and I'll fill you guys in. Welcome back, everybody, to Just Weld and Fab. If you've seen last week's video, you saw our little trip, mini vacation, whatever you want to call it, to Land Between the Lakes. That was a lot of fun, and I highly encourage you guys to go give it a shot. All right, let's get some of this stuff melted on here, hopefully not through it. Alright, so we got that stuff welded in. It looks absolutely terrible. I'll hit it with a mop disc or a flapper wheel, whatever you want to call it, to clean that up. I found the drill bit that I think will work. So we're going to hone out this hole just a little bit so the bolt will fit. That says it should fit. We try the bolt. Voila, we fit. Fantastic. So, next step, I'm going to clean that up with a grinder a little bit there, here, and I think we are ready for paint. Ooh, it's still hot, imagine that. Wow, wow. Bet it's still hot back here too. Bet that's hot. Bet this is hot. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Fantastic. Whew. Tastic. All right. Let me get the grinder. We are back. So I got those pieces painted underneath, as good as they're going to be for what we're doing. Got the steering dampeners all cleaned up. I'm going to wipe them down real quick. We're going to put some good paint on it. Make it look better for a minute. And at least they'll match. First I'm going to wipe them down to get some of the dust off of it. Let that evaporate, and we're going to hit it with some paint. Alright, got the first layer of paint on there. We're going to let that tack up, put some more on it, maybe a couple more coats, whatever makes it look the best. Once it's dry enough, we're going to bolt that thing back on and hopefully call it a done deal for a while. I think the next step, while we're working on painting and letting it dry, is we're going to work on putting that step back on the side. Not a super fan of it, but it looks goofy because we're missing it on one side, and I'm afraid when I pull those off, because I'm pretty sure I will, I'm going to find more rust repair that needs to be taken care of. And if I can't see it, then I can't really worry about it, right? So anyway, also, I need to make some recovery points on the front of this bumper. I need to be thinking about what I'm going to do there and how I'm going to make it work. Anyway, when I come up with that, I will certainly let you know. All right, we started putting that step back on. I got some bolts in, and I got to drill some additional holes, I got to drill some holes, get that thing lined up, get some fresh bolts put back in it. It's really difficult for me to do. Not drilling the holes, but drilling holes in the bodywork that I just did. I know it's not perfect. However, Jeeps, rust, holes, it's just a bad combination. But in the spirit of making this look more symmetrical, or back to the way it was, because the look is kind of growing on me. I like the older nostalgic look to it, so it may stick around for a while. We shall see. Also did some rebuild on the rack and pinion. I'm sorry, not rack and pinion. Drag link and tie rod, I guess. I don't know what you call those pieces. Anyway, threw some paint on those. Got the new steering dampener all bolted up in place. You seen me put some paint on that earlier. There's the old dampener. It's in pretty good shape, not as stiff as the new one, but still usable. So I went ahead and freshened it up with some fresh new real orange paint. Anyway, it's all bolted in. As far as looks, it's looking good. It's late tonight. Welcome back, everybody. We have about an hour to work on this thing tonight. As I mentioned before, we got the soft uppers taken care of. Well, I had one on. I just got the other one on. I still got to deal with this thing here. I'll get it zipped into place, even though it's not going to want to stay zipped, but we'll deal with that at a later date. On the other side, this was the side that I had left to finish. Got the soft upper on this about 5 minutes ago. Took a lot of stretching and pulling just to get it as close as we could. But Jeep's looking pretty good. We've got the steering dampener all in place. Let's see. We're gonna work on this right here. Let me show you. So we're gonna work on getting that step mounted. So I got to drill some holes and hopefully get this thing mounted on there. That's the last big step on this thing. and then plan is to start driving the thing. So we're going to do some local test runs, try to build some trust between me and this guy, gal, whatever you want to call her, and we'll see how it does long term. I'm very interested to see how that steering reacts, but I'm going to get the side step on it first. If I have enough daylight, we'll test drive it tonight. If not, I'll attempt to test drive it tomorrow, and I'll show you guys, well, I'll just show you guys what's going on, and hopefully give you a good report. Anyway, let's get set up so we can get some holes drilled. So we're going to work on getting that step mounted, so I got to drill some holes, and hopefully get this thing mounted on there. That's the last big step on this thing, and then nah, that ain't gonna happen. Might do it from the inside. One I can do right here inside this cavity. Oh, baloney, baloney. That one I'll just guesstimate. This one, I don't know if I'm able to get this one. We will eventually. Just don't know about tonight. Jeep out. Some secret testing grounds. Not really. Just went out to the country a little bit. Take in this view here. The Jeep YJ is about as done as it's going to get for the moment. At least until, let's see, I've got some stuff to fix underneath that step. And I'm still dealing with, this lack of window here. Now I've got an idea. Actually, I got a plan A and a plan B, but I'm going to get with the upholstery shop to see what my options are there. And they've already told me once they can't fix the zipper, but I have another plan, and I'll share that with you another time. But anyway, there it is. We are going to call it quits on this job, on this project for now. Phase 1 complete. We're going to move on to another project, and as I get some pieces and parts trickled back in, I will continue to do some stuff to this. Now there's a few things that still need to be done on it. Let me show you. For instance, I goofed up right there when I welded that bushing or that tube back in, and now I'm making contact with the spring to the frame on both sides, which means I lowered it in the back just a little bit, unintentionally. A slight miscalculation on my behalf. Like I said, those need to go. Those look pretty stupid, and I don't need them. But pretty happy overall with what we do have. So what we've learned is that the steering dampener did help, but it did not help as much as I had hoped for. So we'll just live with it for now. I think an upgrade later might be some crossover steering. I know it's kind of a waste of time on this Dana 30 front differential, but probably going to do it just to see what I can do to improve it. I want to see how much that helps. If that doesn't help enough, I may, or you know me, I like to shoot from the hip and change up intermediately, and I might just go ahead and upgrade it to 110 steering or 110 ball joints, and hope that that's stiff enough to take that out. But we'll live with it for now. We'll just enjoy the ride at the time. So hope you guys enjoy the cruise. I know I'm going to. If you would, what really helps me out is if you guys would just go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there in the bottom. That'll keep you updated on any videos coming out in the future, as well as it helps me out. And follow, and I really appreciate you guys. And have a wonderful week and enjoy your weekend. Peace out.